So this will be interesting.
Yeah.
So who are you?
I'm Christian. I'm a copywriter. I come from Denmark, and we are in San Francisco now, representing our company WDPX. We are on a quest out here to learn how does the environment.
I'm live on video. Come on in.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. Good to meet you.
You're live on Facebook. So,
Okay.
So let me just finish up with these guys, and
yeah,
we'll get into what you guys are doing. So you're going around Silicon Valley, San Francisco, and meeting with startups.
Yep.
And keep talking. Tell me what your approach is and what you're learning by doing this tour of Silicon Valley.
What we bring along is a storytelling company, which is more than 50 years old from Denmark. And it's a company that has dominated print advertising first, then television, and then suddenly all these new channels arose. And at the beginning, we were like, whoa, now we have to change everything again. And we found out that we actually, in Facebook, particularly in Facebook in Denmark, have the most wonderful storytelling platform. And Facebook is actually a mainstream friend in Denmark.
Yeah.
So many people use Facebook for many reasons, for the good, for the right, for the bad, but for really many great reasons.
It's not just Denmark.
No, and it's fantastic.
I spoke to a bunch of top Australian real estate guys on Monday, and I asked them, where have you been posting? You know, how many of you post on Google Plus? Nobody. How many people post on Twitter? 60% of the hands go up. How many people post on LinkedIn? 40%. How many people post on Facebook? And the question was, how many people post in the past week on Facebook? 95%.
Exactly.
Right? And that matches everywhere I speak.
Yeah.
And when I go through airports, I see people on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And when I look at my own world, it's on Facebook. There is Twitter over there ringing along. But, Facebook is going on. So who is this Danish geezer? One of my questions people are asking. So tell me your name again.
It's Christian Nielsen.
Yeah. And you're from which company?
WDPX.
Yeah. And you're here with?
I'm here with Christian today, Carsten. I'm setting up the San Francisco office for the Danish entity, located at Galvanize in the city. And the focus is really about being close to the startups, being close to the people in need of the story. They have the heart, they have the soul. They just have a difficulty actually, getting it out there. It's super noisy around here, so we're breaking the noise.
We've been having a fun morning talking about Steve Jobs and how tech companies pitch themselves to the world. What are you learning from Silicon Valley? Are they doing it well? Or are they doing it poorly?
They're really doing it differently than from where we are.
That's a political way of saying it. They're full of they're shitty, right?
No, I think if you see what we do a lot of storytelling through video, and actually what you do see is that people are really in love with their own specs, and they actually in many ways lack giving people the sentiment of their brand instead of giving the specs of their products. So what it's actually about out there, it's about being loved. It's about creating a crowd that keeps loving you, and they won't love you for your specs. No. They will love you for the reason that you give them something else, that they give you a sentiment, a feeling of being special or relating to something special. They won't love you for your specs.
By the way, people are still surprised that Facebook has live video. Only a very small number of people. They're testing out a new feature, and I'm one of the testers. And I believe this is H.265 video compression. It's very low. It's very little loss on the compression, so the picture quality is stunning. Yeah, and I love it. I see everybody's comments in real time, and it's only for people who have verified accounts. But even then, I'm one of the few profiles who has it right now. So they're testing out new technology, and hopefully everybody gets this. But we got to figure this out, because if everybody had this, the world gets really noisy. It's really hard to consume.
You'll need more storytelling.
Yeah, and actually, you need totally the why and not the what, because the what is all over the place. I mean, we're flocked with what all
We're
over.
driving
the
on what's.
Yeah, and we got to kick.
So you're telling me that there's still San Francisco tech companies that didn't learn from Steve Jobs, because
I tell you that
Steve, would come up and say, "We are announcing today Retina display," right? He wouldn't go into how the display worked or how many pixels it was. He would just say it's twice as sharp as what you got now.
Exactly.
And look at the New York Times on this new Retina display. Isn't that amazing? And he would have very few words on the PowerPoint slides. And I still go to things at IFA's going on right now, and I watch the presentations from IFA or CES, and they're still, 900 words on one slide trying to show every damn spec, right?
exactly.
But if we talked about before, how do you make people pause when they have a feed like this, or they go through a website?
Yeah.
And some of the clients that we are working with right now, you don't want to pause, right? You don't. You just want to keep scrolling because you don't see anything worse.
And let me show off what I was talking about off camera, right? So you go to Facebook. And when you are on Facebook, you're just scrolling through it, right? You just keep scrolling. And is there anything that's going to get you to slow down? And that's the first trick. How do you guys do it in the marketing world? How do you get people to slow down?
Actually, you should actually test it on yourself. Is this really interesting? You can ask that. And if you ever, in any doubt, ask some of your good friends, would this make you stop? And I think, if you take people serious and not yourself too serious as a brand, you'll actually know that you have to be interested in the world that people live in. You have to connect with their context. If you become friends in the real world, you actually start out by giving people something. Yeah. So you should give people something.
Yeah, a beautiful photo, a great video,
a sentiment, something they didn't know, something that actually made their day better, their moment better.
But
start giving.
You got to go more emotional than that. For the first 1 second, as people are scrolling through the feed,
exactly.
You have to give something that catches their eye.
Yeah,
a good headline.
A good headline, a great question, a bold promise,
a photo,
a great
a small snippet of something that just claims to their heart and some other system than just like text, right?
Yeah. And so once you got them, now you got them to slow down. The second thing is you got to get them to click.
Yep.
Or click play.
Yeah.
Or read. If I read a long blog post, I hope that they're starting to read if I caught them with a headline, right?
But you probably also noticed how many videos out there on Facebook that actually lack some sort of call to action. Yeah. I mean, I think it's courtesy to actually tell people that, okay, we spent 17 seconds together.
But the call to action comes after you educated them,
exactly.
after you
exactly.
showed them a nice story, like a GoPro video, right? The GoPro video always has a cool guy doing a bike, thing across Ireland or something. And then at the end is the picture of the GoPro camera. Exactly. In other words, go buy the camera, right? That made this video, right? Yeah. That's the call to action. But so few people have really good content that pulls you in and keeps you reading or keeps you viewing the video, right? Facebook actually is funny. Facebook plays all these games. They show how many likes and they show views on a video. So right now this has 346 viewers. That just means that somebody watched 3 seconds of this video.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean this video is interesting.
No.
Right?
And we know it isn't.
Well, actually, this actually has some pretty interesting content for marketers. But the trick is to get them to convert at the end. Yeah. And so few people do that. Well, we were just looking through some of the brands on one of my lists, and so few people have a link to a web page where they, sell something or give something away or or get people to join a community or join a cause. Yep. Tell me some more what you guys do.
But what I see is that your call to action, if you want to be really good at call to action, you have to get your story straight. Because if you take GoPro, like you mentioned, you just want to be that guy. So the call to action is actually, you want to be that guy, click here. I mean, so the call to action is actually becoming really good because of your storytelling being that bold. You want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. I never surfed. I never skated. but I want to be that guy. So I think what people either you don't know what you actually are asking people about. Would you read more? Would you like to buy this?
Yeah, I mean, let's go look at my startups. So I have a list of 3,300 startups here, right? And you look down and you look at the kind of content that startups are having. First of all, you notice that it's just a really noisy...
Let's start with our product.
It's a noisy world out there. I mean, it goes on and on and on. How do you stop anybody? How do you get them engaged? How do you make them feel some emotion? What would you pitch to a startup who is going to bring a new product out? How do you get through this mess? How do you stick out? How do you stand out?
I think that when you have a product or a company, you actually should spend a lot of time not only with the guys who financed it, with the CEO, but also always with the guys who make the product, because there you find a real sentiment. I always go in the back machinery room to talk to the guys who actually manufacture it or think it or write it, to find out how did it actually start. And then you actually click on that sentiment. You find that sentiment. Facebook is all about sentiment. So you have to generate a sentiment in your first frame. And from that sentiment, you will have to build a relevant, interesting way of going from the sentiment to the real story, and from the story to the only possible call to action. So it's about actually trusting your own instinct. Facebook is very instinctive. People think it's a mind game. It's not.
But so many CEOs don't get Facebook, including mine, right? At Backspace, my CEO is not on Facebook.
No, mine either.
Right.
So it's
how do you sell this idea?
Yeah.
To nerds who are autistic. I have an autistic son, so I can say this. He can't look me in the eye. Right? No. He's very bad at social. These Australian realtors I spoke to on Monday, every single one of them looked me in the eye for a long time. I'm going, this room has very high emotional quotient.
Yeah.
Right? These are good people. And of course, immediately they told me why. Because selling real estate is an emotional thing. That's the only way you get successful, is to be able to figure out people's emotions, right? What drives them to buy a new house.
What's wrong with the kitchen? What do you actually dream of? I think actually a good example is that if you're a bank and you finance real estate for people, you're not talking about real estate. You're not talking about interesting. You're talking about people's home. And what is people's home? People's home is their life. What's people's life? It's not a glamour life. It's actually really, really infrastructural, crazy days where you, for some reason you can't describe, feel happy.
But here's where I was going with this. Your pitch probably works really well with emotional quotient people.
Yes.
Like those real estate guys. Your pitch probably doesn't work well with Silicon Valley people who are nerds and who are often semi-autistic, if not fully autistic. You know, the people who build the cool technology are not people who are good at emotion. They don't go to rock and roll concerts. They don't. They're nerds.
Yeah, but
they need the help, right? They're my dad.
but that's actually good, right? Because that's why we settled down here and went on this crusade here with the team, and we want to, not blindly walk into a dark tunnel and search for the flashlight, but we actually want to search for companies that have that nerve, that have that like backbone knowledge, but can't communicate it. Right. They can't distill it.
So let's get to the call for action. Where are you guys? Where do I find more information on you guys?
WDPX.us.
Okay, pull it up.
Yeah, put it up there.
And what are you doing here in San Francisco?
I came here like 3 years ago with 3 kids and my wife, and left after 12 years at Nokia. Wanted to do something else. Just quit my job and moved from Denmark to the Bay Area in Mountain View.
Yeah.
And it's actually all about helping startups. So I worked with a Danish entity over here, a government entity, helping startups to the Bay Area. And what you see during 3 years of helping startups connect, tell the story, get attention span, which is like difficult here. This is the beauty of it, that you could, with visuals and good storytelling, you can actually combine people, technology, the X and our name is something around, funds come from crowds maybe, so crowd and funding, technology people, startups, corporates, this mashup, this noisy unknown, we're trying to distill big pictures for people who have difficulties telling their own story, but they have it in there, and we're going to dig it out.
Very cool. Tanya just commented that she's listening in her car as she drives. Cool. Don't look at the screen.
Go audio only.
Our call to action is don't look at the screen.
Yeah. Who are you guys, by the way?
I'm founder and managing director of Converter.
Yeah.
We help the enterprises to make the cloud migration simple and easy by a few clicks.
Very cool. We're going to see that in a few minutes. So thanks for coming in the middle of my live video here. Yeah. So you get the benefit of having them key up the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
400 people watching, which is
that
great.
Super cool. Cool.
All right. Well, onward. I got to see another startup now. That's
cool. Fantastic. Thank you.
But let's catch up on the pitch that we are going through these weeks here, so we can hook up out there in the real world.
Well, I'd love to come along with you guys and see just how these engineers who are building these companies respond to you. The good ones are going to get it. This is why I'm doing a lot more things with musicians and artists and people who aren't just technologists, because if you're going to tell stories, if you're going to build brand, music really matters. Nick Woodman, GoPro started 200 yards from here, right? So I got to study what Nick did before he got funded, and how he started his company and how he became a billionaire. And he used music. He had the glitch mob in his videos, and people don't think about that, right? But music was a key part of his storytelling.
Yes.
And I remember when he showed me the video for the Hero 2. In fact, let's see if we can pull that up just before we cut off. Hero 2 video. No, not settings. Oh, I don't even know how to find it anymore. It's so old, Hero 2 GoPro. Oh, let's try that. Can we find historic videos anymore?
Yeah.
Historic, like a few years back.
Anyways, here we go. I think that might be it. Oh yeah, this is it. So that's the glitch mob, right? Let's try to use it. And he used video from around the world. He also said he was trying to change GoPro's image from being just a surf camera.
Exactly.
Because that's how it started, selling to surfers here in Half Moon Bay, to selling it as a lifestyle camera. So he has pilots, he has other kinds of people, and he's showing surfing not as surfing, but the image around the surfing. So he did explicit storytelling here in literally every frame of the video.
But he's so good at it.
And this is what made him a billionaire, this video right here. 22 million hits, right?
And you're totally right about the music, because what the music does is, and every time you hear that music, all the sentiment you actually experience deliberately or unconsciously will come back to you. Yeah. That's what music is able to. Music has a larger language than words. Yeah. Remember that.
So you see all these famous surfers and pilots. It's showing the lifestyle around the action, not necessarily the action exclusively. And
it's showing all the people we want to be, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's the call to action. Yeah. Be one of these guys.
Be a hero is the
exactly.
subtext, right?
Beautiful.
Anyway, I remember the night I got to hang out with the video team who made that the night that it was released, and they talked about some of what they did with this video, and it really went on to make after this video came out, then he got funded, then he became a billionaire.
That's right? What good videos can.
But anyway, this is why I'm playing with music. In January, I'm doing a concert with 10 musicians. One of the famous music promoters, Claire Parr, is coming. She picks the music for Southwest Airlines, and Loft Hotels, and Coca-Cola, and other things. Wow. And so I'm trying to build this bridge between startups and music and art, right? Fantastic. see where it goes.
So you can get in touch with their emotional sides as well.
I'm trying.
Yeah. we know it's out there somewhere.
We wish you good luck. But I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Let me
Thank
just
you.
look through the questions.
Yeah.
The UI looks more. People are liking this live video. Yeah, I like the UI on this. I can even flip the camera around instantly, and this is cool.
So what are you seeing here from that side?
I see the questions coming in live, right?
Cool.
Yeah. And so music is a way of life, James says, right? Matt Robbins says, great example vid. Be a hero, define hero, please. Hero is, people have an image of what a hero is. Somebody who saves somebody in a fire, right?
Be a hero.
But
Goes the extra mile.
But goes the extra mile. But it also means somebody who is brave and who does stuff that you and I don't want to do.
Exactly.
Jumps off a mountain.
First mover with a sense of,
Jumps off a mountain, skis. I mean, there's no mistake why GoPro started here. Mavericks is 10 minutes from here. And there they surf the 60-foot waves. That's not a normal wave to surf.
Takes some heroism.
Some heroism, some
some
craziness.
Exactly. But I think those two are related. Has to be.
And you also have to be at a high level,
right?
A very high level. You don't get to surf a wave like that unless you've surfed 10,000 hours.
Exactly.
Because you have to surf all the small waves first and really understand how to surf. And then you get braver and braver to surf bigger and bigger waves, and eventually you end up being a 60-foot.
It's actually an interesting preposition. Being a hero takes training.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll start with the first.
The next thing, by the way, you can go back and watch this as soon as I stop the video. I'm using an iPhone 6 Plus, nothing else, no special microphones, just using my cell phone. This is amazing stuff. Anyways, I'll see you later. We got another startup to see, and then I got to go give a speech tonight. So at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco. So, see ya.